Hello everyone, Roshi is here. I'll keep this short and sweet. This deck is fantastic. I went like 10-1 with this on the ladder, and that was just while I was live. While I was off stream, I had a really solid run of things. One of the games I lost was to Power Screw, but there's actually multiple games where I was getting flooded or screwed, and I just kind of won anyway. So I'm not saying this deck is the best deck, but it's the best deck I've made in a while. It's definitely a contender, and it can hold its own against most decks in the format. General theme of this deck, we're playing some really sticky, thick threats that have a big booty and a lot of versatility, going to replace themselves, generate you card advantage, or help you ramp, and really set you up to have a solid late game. Let's run through the cards. Heaphos, super versatile. Oftentimes on turn 3, we might just be slamming this down to have a blocker. Big 3/4, big booty Judy over here. Or it could be just grabbing us a sigil and helping us hit that critical like 5th power. Very convenient later on in this game whenever you're at 7 power or 9 power or 11 power. It is absolutely busted and will win you games. Making like a 9/10 that like also gives you a sigil for like speed grafter fodder and like stuns their best guy. Yeah, that's gonna win you a game real fast. Janitor Dovid, a lot of the cards in our deck are soldiers. Heaphos, speed grafter, crusader, Jata, and then it'll also hit vicious overgrowth and rune of relocation. Enough hits that we're gonna be hitting probably half or more than half of the time, which I think is acceptable. Being a 4/4 is just fine. Most of the time our units are good enough that we can just ignore the soldiers that come out, and just having a thick dude that like replaces itself is more than worth it. Gives us an excellent 2-drop and just something to do before we get into our stealth 3-drops. Speed Grafter opens us up to a very solid market. Mandatory retirement. People are going to be using Reappropriator to steal our Manacles. This is the best way to undo that and get those Manacles slapped back on and put your opponent back in jail where they belong. Customs Officer, just a really solid removal spell. Oftentimes being able to dodge Defile and Flash Fry, thanks to a Speed Grafter buff, will make it so that he basically can't die against most decks. Sometimes it's hard removal that comes on a 5/4 charging body, so it's really hard to say no to that. Sometimes you just want some life gain or to turn off some burn. Soroa is in here. This card is a flex card. Feel free to replace it with literally anything else if you want to. I grabbed this card the least, and it is only there for life gain if I need it, and might not need to be there at all. Kind of up to you on this one. Entradius, giving a stealth card charge and being able to hit the opponent with it immediately in some situations can be epic. It'll trigger our ring if we need it, and is kind of our mid-game card we grab if we're like kind of ahead. And Valiant Guardian is our end-game hard card we have whenever we're looking to close out the game. So that's kind of the market there, and giving all these things charge is excellent. Hidden Crusader, this is and has been one of the best stealth cards. If they kill it on their turn, you still have a blocker. If they kill it on your turn, it replaces itself, and if you attack with it, it also replaces itself. Fantastic card. Definitely a 4 of. It's a soldier as well, which is fantastic. Jata, this card is insane. Being a 4/5, it does not die to Flash Fry. It does not die to Vicious Overgrowth, and is really going to trip up your opponent because in the past, people have been able to just overgrowth your card, and even if it was a reflector, you're just left behind with a 0/5. But now that we've got this super spicy card that'll ramp us and set us up so nicely for like a turn 4 Juffy or a turn 4 Lucent Guide. Juffy, drawing cards, getting bigger, so Seek powers, Glamour triggers, Speed Grafter, Dovid, Heaphos, Wisdom of Elders. All of these cards are going to trigger your Juffy and make her bigger, which can help you get out of that critical 1/3 and get to a 2/4 ASAP, which, like I said, will get you past Overgrowth or Flash Fry, and be a very critical like stat point for you to get past so that it'll survive. Turning power into Dragon's Eyes will basically enable you to win most late game card advantage fights. Eventually you're going to draw a Dragon's Eye, and then they're just going to start chaining together, and you're going to get more Juffys, and you're going to draw more Dragon's Eyes. And as long as they're not like D'Angelo's miting for 7 and then doing it again with Davia, you're going to out card advantage most opponents eventually. Lucent Guide. This is another one of the new cards. It is also absolutely insane. When you're playing against Feln and they're just killing everything you play, aside from like Permafrost, they really don't have a lot of good answers for this. And if they kill it, you're going to leave behind 2 1/3s to attack. If they don't target it, you can pay 7 and gain some life. That's relevant against aggro. If you're playing against aggro and they kill this, you're going to have 2 1/3s to block. And those 1/3s line up so nicely against Dovid like soldiers that you might be giving your opponent. Guide is just excellent. In the past, whenever you would spend 5 power, everyone would just assume you had Juffy and play accordingly. But and maybe an Entradius like some of the time. But like now that we've got a super viable 5-drop, and I do think this is way more viable than the dinosaur. Feel free to try the dinosaur if that's your cup of tea, but I think Lucent Guide is miles better. Permafrost, super efficient removal. Potentially you might want something like this so you have more, Dovid hits. But I just think Permafrost is so good that we're just slamming 4. It really helps you gain tempo by playing like a 2-drop on 3 and then like having a Permafrost, or like a 3-drop on 4 and having a Permafrost is so much better than like spending your whole turn to Vicious Overgrowth. Overgrowth can be helpful though when there's cards like Houndmaster or Auto Tread that you like actually want off the board. So I'll let you decide how you want your removal split. I went for super low to the ground. You can do as you will. Ring of Glamour. Play a unit with stealth, draw a card. After the 3rd pip, gain 3 life. Yeah, we really love this card. Oftentimes, it's a draw 3 that gains us 3 life. If you're really unlucky and your opponent is playing stealth cards as well and Reappropriator, you can get really trolled. I've had games where they stole my Ring of Glamour and then like drew 2 cards off of it before I could deal with it, and then like usually you just lose those games. Kind of sucks, but it's nice to have targets that might bait out Relicate so that our Manacles don't get hit. Speaking of Manacles, this card's a 2-for-1 like most of the time, because even for example, if they're like auto-treading their own guy to deal with the Manacles, they still have to discard a card and kill their own guy. So that is still a 2-for-1 in that scenario. And if it's Reappropriator, like I said, we can just Retirement or Customs Officer to get it back. So this card's insane. I think it's an easy 4 of. It's one of the best removal spells we've seen in a while. People are starting to come around to like including Relicate and Tech for this card, but they have to draw it, and it's still going to be good the games where they don't have it. And even when they do, it's still probably excellent. So that is my opinion on Manacles. Seek Power, like I said, triggers Juffy. Overgrowth, it's able to hit sites, which is relevant, and clear blockers, or just deal with annoying things like Houndmaster that you really want just off the board. Wisdom Elders, I opted to run 4. This deck really looks to churn and burn and like just have a ton of card advantage, and this kind of goes into that vein. Eventually we're going to get to this point where we're like ramping with Peacekeepers, and we might need a reload, and being able to draw into more cards, play more guys, gain more life, or pump our Juffys or whatever, hit our land drops is super important. This card's going to enable you to like get to 8 power and do some really busted things. So that is the deck. I tried to keep it short. I mostly failed. Ended up with a 10-minute deck tech. But thank you for watching. I played these games live on my 7/19/2021 stream. So if you want to check that out, you can. And videos will be uploading shortly of the gameplay. So look out for those in this coming week. And I wish you all a pleasant evening. You can catch me live on Twitch at Twitch TV/Roshi is here. I'll be streaming most nights, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and potentially on the weekends too, my schedule permitting, and usually I'll stream any tournaments that are going on as well. So check me out, guys. Hop in the Discord if you're not in it. I'm always talking about decks, ideas, new cards, spoilers. If you're looking to hear my 2 cents on something, that is the best place to do it, and I hope to see you guys around. As always, stay frosty, and see you guys.